Hey, it's Sage, and I'm here today with a Promised Neverland chapter review, this time chapter 79. Now, this was a pretty explosive chapter overall. We start off with recapping how the kids with Lucas and Oliver, their involvement has taken like around 8 years of preparation. They've managed to make these 3 guns, and they have 5 shots with these 3 guns. We then go straight back into the Noose and Numa fight. And through this fight, we kind of follow Sonia and Sandy, who's the girl with pigtails and the guy with the kind of weird afro and the clips in it. Yeah, those two are the main kind of fighting force against Noose and Numa. And indeed in this chapter we do see Numa fall, who is the female-looking demon of the pair. And Noose, really interestingly, is thrown into this real emotional rage. It's like he goes from being quite uppity and feeling like, you know, we're going to win, it's these children, they don't have anything against us, to going into this state of absolute panic and shock and despair. And it's really interesting to see, because I don't think the children are expecting this emotional state, and certainly as the reader we expect a level of superiority, or at least callousness and coldness to the demons that we just don't actually see in this. Now, what I'd like to talk about for a minute is the double deceptions that we see happening a lot. We saw them go from one encounter with Luce, and that was more straightforward, but even then it was drawn out a little bit. We had those double deceptions. It wasn't simple, and we're definitely having this again with this chapter. You know, all of these tripwires, we know as the reader that is most likely not the way that this will all go forward, but Noose and Numa do. They think that these traps are getting an opening for them, and that they're planning an opening, and as the reader we start to think, oh, is that the grand plan? Is the grand plan that they'll pigeonhole them? But no, it turns out that the pigeonholing was to get them in a situation isolated with 2 kids so that they could shove up a flash bomb, blind Noose and Numa, and while Noose and Numa are moving, shoot the masks. Now, notice that's the masks and not Noose and Numa's actual brains, or eyes, because the plan isn't to kill them then. The plan is for snipers to engage with normal bullets and normal guns, so that they can take down Noose and Numa, and the 2 children, Sonia and Sandy, are bait. They are bait so that as the demons lord over and take that arrogance and that pride and that self-esteem kind of boost, as they take that, that's the moment where the snipers come in, which is very clever. And this is one of the more followable double deceptions. I would say that this one makes perfect sense, and the reader follows along and goes, of course, of course, of course. Some of them, like the ear thing and the meat, burning meat that was back in Gracefield House, like that, I remember reading that and thinking, Ray, no. And now I'm thinking, Ray, no, still, but for different reasons, which is what matters. And he's okay, so that's all that mattered in the end. But the next kind of thing I'd like to talk about is the weapons work. So we know that these are 2 guns that are linked towards Emma's fight, and Emma has 2 shots for Lewis. So it's my personal opinion that once this fight is done, these guns are going to move to be with Emma, and that's why we see Emma and Lewis at the end of this chapter, is because there are 5 shots and 3 guns. There's 2 guns in this current scenario. You know what I mean? There's only one gun that's not with us already accounted for, and I feel like that's going to be for Bayon. Purely because Lewis has 2 shots, it makes the most logical sense that there are 4 shots on those guys. They only have 1 because they need the 2. I mean, I suppose they might only have those 2 and genuinely, like, it really counts, but, like, I get the feeling that 3rd gun is off with Bayon, and that 3rd shot is off with Bayon, and these 2 guns we are actually going to have to see a changeover, because there aren't enough guns for all the demons. Now, the next thing that I'd kind of like to talk about is the emotions of Noose don't seem to be planned. All of how they're going to kill them, how they're going to break the masks off, intricately planned. And the children almost seem stunned and taken aback by the raw grief of Noose. And I'm interested because we didn't see Noose go down. So will he have some form of rage state? Will he be easier to take down? Or will he flee? Like, we just don't know what fight or flight instinct he's going to follow anymore, because we've not seen the demons go through this. They've always been very cold and calculating and lording over, and we've not seen this emotional display before from the demons, although a lot of people expect the demons to have it because they have higher level thinking. And where we saw with Luce, like, he was deathly afraid, he was bargaining for his life, but that's still part of the cold and calculating. So to see them do it over another demon is really interesting. So yeah, the guns work. There are only a couple of shots. The guns have got to change over. Does Emma even have a gun right now? And oh my god, that last panel where she's facing Lewis. Whew, that was hype. That was hype. It's been a hype chapter, and it's been Sage. See you later.